Totally getting a call on my phone. And it's gone. Hey, hey, hey. What's going on? I'm going to wait a second for some people to get on before we go too much into detail. But it's fall, y'all. It's fall, y'all. And what's funny is that, yes, it is fall. And that means it's sweater weather. And today I'm wearing me a sweater because it's sweater weather. It's super nice out, but I think like the high today is like 55, and that's pretty cold, especially from my California people. Real cold. But welcome to sweater weather. It's exciting to be here. All right, we got a few people on. I'm super pumped about it, so let's get straight to work. Today, the entire live is going to be about why camps are crucial for your growth as an athlete. Camps are seriously the number one thing that I believe I've learned the fastest about myself. I have been involved in environments that are going to challenge me so much. So the fact that I was involved in a lot of camps growing up is probably the reason why I got as good as I did, was because I got to see how other people were that were my age. So I got to actually just not be exposed to my team who I see, multiple times a week and I'm competing on the field with. I'm around other people that are looking for more in their game. And sometimes if I was at a camp in college, or if I was at a camp, let's say just a local one with a good coach, regardless, you're with people that are looking for more in their game. And if they're not there to look for more in their game, you can see it on their faces. They're just there to exist. But my goal is to surround myself with people that are looking for more, that are looking for ways to be able to get out of their comfort zone and get more out of themselves. So that's what camps are all about. And today we're going to be talking about why camps are so crucial for your growth as an athlete. Because some people aren't convinced. Some people are like, oh shoot, I'm not going to take my kid to a camp, not unless it's a college team they want to play for. And that's where I'm going to say you are wrong. If your child or you as an athlete are not signed up for a camp coming up, I am going to challenge you to do it, because camps are what get you out of your comfort zones. So I'm here to explain for the next 30 minutes, or maybe even less. Who knows how fast I go through all these bullet points. But I'm here to just show you why camps are crucial for you and why you should be signing up for your next camp if you're not already right now. Because these are the things that people learn when they go to camps. Before I get into that, I always start with positivity of the week. And my positivity is, which I'm going to say what mine is, and I hope that during this time you think of something positive that's happened for you within the past 24 hours. I really encourage you to do this practice every single day, because if you're reminding yourself of something that you've grown or something that you've learned or just something positive that makes you smile, if something has happened in the past 24 hours, which I firmly believe something positive has probably happened to you in the past 24 hours, I want you to get into a headspace of reminding yourself of what that is, because as soon as you do, you're in the perfect place to be in a good posture for today's entire life. So really think right now of what that thing is that happened the past 24 hours that puts a smile on your face or puts you in a good mood, because you tend to learn more when you're in a good mood to learn. But if you're in a bad mood and you hop on this live and you're in negativity mode, you're not going to get as much out of today. So put yourself in that positive mindset. Today, I'm going to say my positivity was my good friend Ryan Fuller, who is on Instagram. He is one of the people that I always follow his hitting videos. He is a genius when it comes to hitting, and I love learning from him. He actually posted a podcast on his story today, and literally every single day I listen to some sort of podcast so I can learn more about the game. And the podcast is called Driveline Podcast. And the latest episode was absolute fire. Like this morning, I listened to it, and it's only like a 24-minute podcast. So it wasn't anything long, but I learned so much in that 24 minutes to where I was like, that's going to be my positivity of the day, because this is a podcast that I've never heard of before. It's called Driveline Podcast. If you're a podcaster and you want to learn more about hitting, and more about the specifics or what's happening mechanics-wise and mentally, go follow Driveline Podcast. Don't just follow them, listen to them, because their stuff is fire. Okay, so that's my positivity. That's something that I've done in the past 24 hours that, made my day. So that's how I'm going to start today. Now, okay, like I said before, today is all about why camps are crucial for your growth. I don't care if they're a college camp. I don't care if it's led by a professional softball player. I don't care if it's led by your local high school. Camps, if they're run the right way, can be the fastest form of growth in the shortest period of time, okay? So let's say you sign up for a 5-hour camp, and within that 5 hours, you're working on hitting, defense, pitching, catching, and some mental game. A lot of camps don't have mental game, which is why I think my camps are the best in the Midwest. But let's say that's what's going to happen in that 5 hours. During those 5 hours, if you're going to the right camp, you are being challenged mentally and physically in ways that the only other place you can find this is one of those super intense games where it's your team and another team on the line for, like, let's say a pretty big title. You don't find this type of environment very often, and so if you can sign up for a camp that's going to challenge you physically and mentally to help prepare you for that game, for that championship, for that big game down the line that you have, you need to get on it. So let's just talk about camps in general. Most camps are going to have challenges. They're going to have girls that, like I said earlier, are looking for more in their game. They're going to have coaches that are not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for the growth of other athletes. A lot of coaches, if they're smart, are bringing on other coaches that are super excited about the game, that want to teach the game selflessly to the next generation. These are the type of people you're going to find at these camps. So what better people to surround yourself with than the people that are actually not in it for themselves, but they're coaching your athlete so that they can find themselves in this game. They are teaching you the things that they wish they would have learned at their age. So those are the best places to listen. So I have a list of 5 things, which I've already tapped into a couple of them. A list of 5 things that you're going to see at camps, at least good camps, that have to make, like, when you listen to these, you're going to, like, hopefully, this is my dream, my plan, you're going to go find the next closest camp near you, and you're going to sign your daughter up for it, because this is why they're so important. But the first thing that's on my list of 5 is the fact that your daughter is competing with athletes that they don't know, okay? So a lot of times, athletes, they get really complacent with where they are because they're always around the same girls on their team. They're always around the same coaches. Girls being exposed to other girls that they don't know is going to fire them up in ways that they don't really get unless they're playing another opponent. So think about it. They're competing against girls that they don't know. In what other environment are they competing against girls they don't know? Games, okay? Now here's the fun part. Odds are when you're at one of these camps, you are not the best athlete at that camp, okay? And if that doesn't fire you up, like it fires me up, I'm going to try to motivate you to have it fire you up. If you are not the best kid at the camp, I need you to understand that that is the perfect opportunity for you to grow, because you are going to be exposed to athletes that are better than you, and that type of, like, watching them do their thing, like let's say they're a better hitter, just overall hitter than you are. Instead of looking at them as like, oh my gosh, they're so good, that makes me bad, look at what they're doing that you don't currently do. Because if you believe that they're better than you, there's probably a reason. There's probably a lot that you can learn from those girls that are around you that are maybe better at something that you're not, okay? So you are going to learn by being and competing around girls that are better than you. So at a camp, you are literally exposed to tons of athletes that may be better at you at something. And the coolest part is, camps that are run the right way, they have all of those elements: hitting, pitching, defense, catching, all of these different things. So let's say you're a really good hitter, but you're not as good on the defensive side. And so you're going to be the best one at the hitting segment, and you might not be the best one at the defensive segment. So you are a leader in one aspect, in the hitting aspect, and then you're going to be more of like a follower, but also listener, and really going to absorb a lot from the defensive part because you're not as good at it. So understand that even though you might not be as good at some element of the game, you're probably a lot better than other people in another element of the game. I've said this example before, but when it comes to base running, not many people are elite base runners. And that's where, like, I'm trying to change the game. When it comes to base running, like, I stole a record at Purdue because I looked at it in a different light than most people. But if you're showing up to a camp and you're doing base running, or something where, like, your first step is super important and you're a little behind maybe, your job is to go see the people that are rocking that station and seeing what they're doing and trying to do your best at doing that. Because being exposed to other people that you're competing with, you're also learning from them. So that was number one. You're competing with athletes that you don't know, and therefore you're learning more about yourself in that scenario. Okay, Ronnie said, we just lost a game yesterday because of bad base running. It is seriously like the hardest thing to watch. I'm sure you felt this, Ronnie. Like, losing to bad base running is some of like the worst feelings in the entire world. Like, I know college coaches that are losing games because of bad base running, but that's how seriously like I'm starting to look at it, or not just look at it, but teach it, because it is crucial to wins and losses, is base running. So Ronnie, I feel you, man. I'm here for you. I got maybe I'll do an entire live segment on base running sometime soon. I'm actually going to take note of that because I think it's that important. Okay, number 2. Not only are they exposed to other athletes that they're competing with, they're exposed to tough challenges that they have to overcome. Now, if your child is going to a camp and they are not challenged, that is not a very good camp to attend, okay? So one of the first questions you should ask if you want to know, is this camp good for my daughter, is, hey, go find somebody else who went to this camp and ask if they were challenged, okay? Because if they won't, it's going to be a waste of your money. If you sign up for camps where your kid's not being challenged, there are other places that you can go cheer up your kid. Go take her to Chuck E. Cheese. She can go have a good time and smile and feel good about herself, but she's not learning anything while she's there. That's not what camps are for, okay? Camps are for being surrounded by challenges and competitions that are hard, that are harder than most challenges in a game. And there's a reason behind it. The way I structure my camps are, I have to expose you to challenges that make you have butterflies in your stomach. Okay? Because let's think about it. You're playing in a game, you're in the batter's box, it's super lonely right there, and there's this pitcher that's throwing gas. Okay? Last time I checked, before I actually walked in that batter's box, I had a little bit of butterflies. Okay? The butterflies, I'm here to teach you with these drills that I'm giving you to challenge you. I'm teaching you that butterflies are a good thing. Butterflies are things where you know, a lot's on the line. You can either get a hit or get a clutch double to score a runner in that situation, or you can strike out. You have to have a lot on the line to get some butterflies, and my job is to give you a lot of butterflies, because the more times you're exposed to those butterflies, the more opportunities you are going to make in the direction that you want when you're up against those challenges. So my job at a camp is to make sure you're exposed to challenges that give you butterflies, because you will fail at some of them. You will fail at some of the challenges that I give you. Just like in a game, you're going to fail more times than you succeed in this game, okay? So I'm giving you places to fail that don't mean a whole lot there, because in the game, they're going to mean a lot more. So if you can be exposed to challenges that are giving you butterflies in your stomach that you have to overcome, and if you don't, you learn from it. If you do, you now know how to go and approach the next time you have butterflies in a game. Okay? That's the whole point of camps. So camps, they expose you to things and to challenges that are just like games that are supposed to make you nervous. So do not be afraid to jump into a camp that's going to scare you in some elements. It's going to be nerve-wracking sometimes. A coach may call you in front of everybody because they love what you're doing with your hitting. This is one of my favorite things to do. I pull a camper that I've seen has been working really hard and focusing on their game, and I'll say, okay, you are doing a lot of things that I wish more people do, and I want you to do it right here in front of everybody else. And honestly, even that, it's not even a competition, but it's exposure to something that scares you. I have that girl come out in front of however many people are at a camp, and she has to go do whatever the challenge was that I had them do in front of everyone, and everyone's watching. And last time I checked, these professional athletes that are competing in postseason are in front of millions and millions of people. So the more you can be exposed to something that gets you out of your comfort zone, the more times you can try to do something in front of people that you're uncomfortable doing it in front of, the easier it's going to get. So I want to make sure that you guys are attending camps that are actually so competitive, but also they're challenging you in how you go about certain situations in games. Okay? So that's number 2, be exposed to tough challenges that you have to overcome at camps. The third thing at camps, and this is going to sound super obvious and easy, but every camp that you attend, you are going to get tons and tons and tons of reps within, let's say, that 3 to 5 hours of this camp. That in itself is one of the best reasons to sign up for camps, because your kid is going to have, 3 to 5 hours of not just continuous swings. Let's just say like they're hitting the entire time. They're not going to be swinging the entire 3 to 5 hours, but they are learning more about themselves physically and mentally by just getting reps in. And there is like one of the best things to gain confidence in anything is to get your reps in. So if you're signing up for camps and you have to know going into that, as long as you're intentional with every single rep that you're putting in, you are getting better simply by the amount of swings that you're taking, okay? And a lot of times when people don't see like drastic changes in their swing in a week, people are like, oh my gosh, we hit like every night for 10 minutes and we've been doing it for 7 days, but we don't see any results or anything yet. I think to myself, you have not put in enough reps to be able to feel a huge difference yet. So the fact that like reps are huge when it comes to confidence, you're signing up for a camp, your growth is going to happen within however long that camp is due to the fact that they're getting tons and tons of reps. And then add on at camps, a lot of those reps are done in pressure situations. So back to number 2, exposed to tough challenges. Putting in the reps in pressure situations it's enhancing the reps even more. So camps are seriously a no-brainer to sign up for because you're putting in the reps. So number 3 was literally you're just getting tons and tons and tons of reps. So if that's not a reason in itself to sign up for the next camp nearby you, I don't know what else there is, even though I have 2 more things that I'm about to show you. Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4 is the fact that I love camps. I'm just going to say it right now. Putting on camps is probably one of my favorite things in the entire world, other than honestly like these lives that I do. But camps are seriously like some of the best memories that I have as a coach because the energy is insane at these camps. Like, I don't know about any other camps that other people run, but my heart is always pumping at like super speed. Like I physically get probably a workout times 10 during these camps because I am just feeding so much energy into these athletes, because as long as I'm doing that, what am I getting in return? I'm getting the exact energy back. And that type of energy is the stuff where you're going to see what you're made of and more in that environment. Because when the energy is, let's say like the opposite. If there is little to no energy at any sort of event or anything that you do in life in general, if there's no energy there, nobody's getting better, okay? It's literally just like a lull and nobody's challenging themselves and they're just existing and it's like the worst experience ever. But I'm telling you right now that I specifically structure camps, thanks to Package Deal, by the way, because when I worked with the Package Deal, they were always exposing their athletes to such high energy everything to where it's just like such a loud environment and people are doing crazy stuff. Like catchers are diving across the field, going after balls that they don't even know if they can get to, and they're just doing it because there's so much energy and they're just like, let's go, let's figure it out. And that type of energy is something that I've learned to instill in my camps through the Package Deal. Shout out to Jen Shrell, Amanda Scarborough, Morgan Stewart, and Katie Schroeder. They have exposed me to the benefits of having so much energy at a camp. Like when I worked their first camp, I kid you not, I showed up and I was just like, I don't know what to expect. I'm just going to coach the best way that I can, and I'm just going to like pour my heart and my soul into these athletes. This is all that I'm going to do. And this is before they had me join the roster, by the way. And I was just exposed to an environment where like Jen's screaming at her catchers on one side of the room. And Amanda's like, she has a microphone on, but her voice is not as loud as Jen's. But Amanda's over here yelling at her not yelling at her athletes, but screaming the things that she knows that these girls need to know. And it's just an environment of everybody is loud, everybody is moving, everybody is sweaty, and everybody is focused on themselves. And that is an environment that the best camps that your kids can be going to need to have. They need to have that sort of energy and be exposed to it, because they will work harder in that environment instead of like a camp or a practice or whatever that there's no energy at all. And that energy, it's going to translate to the biggest stages that they play on. That energy that they're exposed to and they realize, wow, I just made that diving play. I didn't even know I could get to it, but I went for it because I was all in. That type of environment that you're going to see at camps is what you're going to be exposed to in games. So you want to have that adrenaline pumping. You want to be around people that are screaming and yelling and excited because they know what they're capable of and they know what their teammates are capable of. So being exposed to environments like that with high energy at camps is going to translate into the physical games that they're playing, and they are going to surprise the heck out of themselves come game time. And you as a coach might be just as surprised. But it's your job as a coach, especially not just in like camps, but in practice, make the energy high. Make the environment something where there's a lot to lose and you have to go all in or you don't win, whatever it is, okay? So that energy, it translates. So that's another reason why camps are so amazing, is because the energy in the room, as long as you're at the right camp, the energy in the room is what you're gonna see on the field, not just with your athlete, but their teammate. So if that's something that resonates with you, I've seen a couple hearts, but do me a favor. If this is something where you are learning so much from this, like take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your social media and be like, hey, this is stuff that I want my team to start doing. Hey, this is stuff that I want my girls to start going to camps to expose themselves to more. The more people that see, not just this, but this type of different outlook on camps, the more people are going to be excited about going to camps. And I hope that this live helps more people sign up for camps. Not just mine that's coming up November 9th, but just in general, go to camps because of these 4 things that I've told you so far. The last thing, number 5 here, that I believe is going to help you with your growth at a camp is just the fact that when girls leave these type of camps where there's high energy, there's challenges, there's reps, and there's a ton of competition, they will work so hard within that time slot that they will walk out of there exhausted but empowered, because they just put in work and they just worked harder than they've ever worked in their entire life, to where they're going to leave that camp inspired to continue the things that they worked on in that camp. You don't get this in a one-on-one lesson for 30 minutes. You don't get this at, a 30-minute hitting session in your backyard. You don't get this feeling. This feeling is something that's, just camps or maybe like the highest intensity game you've ever played in your whole life. Those are the only times that you get that feeling of being inspired and empowered to continue what you just worked so hard on. And the best pictures that I've ever gotten after camps are kids that are like driving home, because some people they drive like 2 hours to some of my camps, and they'll send me photos of their daughter like sleeping in the car, passed out, like exhausted, because they just put every ounce of effort that they had, or as much as they totally had in the tank, and they gave it all day. And that's the type of feeling where like you as the athlete in that situation feel so inspired. Like you feel so excited to go after whatever it is you're going after. And what I love about my camps is that like I'm constantly reminding you of why you're working this hard. Why are you sweating so much? Why are you louder than you've ever been in your whole life? Why are you diving for balls that you didn't think you could go to? Oh, it's because you know why you showed up. You know that this rep or this 3-hour camp is exposing you to be able to bring more to the table when it comes to game time. These 3 hours that you just gave every ounce of effort is the main reason why you're going to go home and you're going to want to go hit that night, or you're going to want to hit the next day, or you're going to want to spend, an hour going over your entire next month of how you're going to train to get to where you're going. I am constantly exposing my athletes to where they want to be in this game. And a lot of you, if you're on this live right now, you're not where you want to be, and that's the best part. You are working, you are progressing to become the best version of you down the line that you can possibly be. So you going to a camp where you're going to work your butt off and you are going to leave it all out on the line, leave it all out on the field, a lot of people like to say, you are going to leave that environment inspired and empowered to be able to take that energy with you to whatever team, whatever parents, whatever siblings, just everybody in your life, you're now exposed to more because you just did more. You just saw what you were made of, and there is nothing more, powerful than being from being empowered from an experience you've just done. So the goal for every camp that at least I run, and that most people when they're putting together camps, at least I hope most people, is that their athletes are going to leave more inspired than when they walked in. They're going to leave different athletes than when they started. That's the whole goal. Give me like a bunch of hearts or a bunch of likes if that resonated with you. If you have seen girls go to camps or go to practices and feel that inspired and leaving, or maybe it's you and have left like with so much more confidence than when you walked in. I love it. Thanks for the hearts. But that's the whole goal of camps, is you want to work so hard within that time frame to leave knowing that you are a completely different athlete in the best way. You are now a completely different athlete that is going to surprise the heck out of yourself the next time you're put in front of a challenge. And that's the goal. That's the goal. Whenever you go to a camp, that is the entire goal. So those are the 5 things. Let's just do a simple recap so we know exactly, what crucial things in camps are going to lead to growth. The first one is competing with athletes that you don't know, because you're going to surprise yourself with how much knowledge that they might have that you can come out with as well. 2, you're exposed to tough challenges to overcome, because last time I checked, games are a challenge and you want to come out on top. So if you're exposed to more challenges, you're going to be able to have more confidence come game time. Number 3 reason to go to camps is because you're getting tons and tons of reps, and you can gain so much confidence in the fact that you're putting in intentional reps, and you're going to get more reps in that 3 to 5 hour camp than any other 3 to 5 hours if you're just working by yourself. Okay? So that's another reason why to attend a camp. Number 4, energy and adrenaline at camps is contagious. Okay? That energy that you're going to find in a camp, there's no other way you can find that energy except for, a state title at your next travel ball game, or let's say a state title for high school. Like, I was exposed to that environment, and there's no other place that you'd want to be than that moment. And the job is to be able to get your job done on the biggest stages. So if you're going to be on those stages, you need to be at an environment where the energy is super high. And then the last one is work hard, and that however long that camp is, work so hard that when you leave, you feel inspired and empowered because you just left it all out on the line. And that's the thing. It's like the environment that I create at the camps that I run, that I put together, is I structure the camp to where you are either going to go all in and feel like $1 million when you leave the room and feel like an entirely different athlete, or some people, they just come and they don't have the plan to get that out of the camp, but they end up having it, and they're like, whoa, where can I get more of this stuff? And that's the whole point of camps. It's like, become so inspired by the work that you put in. Like, my job as a coach is to get the most out of you. So when you're working that hard in a practice, or let's say in a camp, you are going to leave a better human being. And so when you go to camps, you're exposed to all these challenges, you're exposed to more reps, you're exposed to high energy, and these are the things that's going to make you go to the next level of your game. Even if you don't know what the next level of your game is right now, this camp will help guide you. So, obviously I'm talking about camps because I have one coming up. And I don't want to give you too many details, but if you're interested in coming, AshleyBTraining.com has all the details. I'm going to be in Fort Wayne in November, and I really hope you come, because this is going to be where all these elements and more are going to be added to my camp. And if you don't feel like $1 million after you leave my camp, I will give you a full refund, okay? That's just coming out of my own pocket. That's my goal, okay? So if you don't live by me, it's not like there are camps that are going to get all of these elements that we just talked about out of them. And so, and you're near some of them, okay? The package deal is doing an anniversary tour, and they're traveling the country to give you all of these experiences and more at those camps. So see maybe where the package deal is going. I only do every once in a while. So there are probably camps in your area that you need to go online, go to Google, be like, the nearest softball camps to me. Or if you live by a college, they have camps in the winter, they have camps in the spring, in the summer. There are camps to sign up for. So my challenge to you is, what's the next camp that you're going to sign up for that's going to challenge yourself in all of these ways that I just told you? Which camp near you is going to have you compete against girls you don't know? Have challenges to help you overcome. Have tons and tons of reps, like it's crazy. have high energy and work hard so you can leave empowered. All of these things are also in your control as well. I want to definitely hit on that too. Like let's say you go to a camp and there's like barely any reps, which is weird. Most camps have tons and tons of exposure to reps. Let's say you go to a camp, there's not many reps. You can have the control of making the most of every single rep that you have. That's where you can be intentional and go into a camp with these 5 things, with these 5 ideas of how you can make the camp the best that you possibly can. So you guys are going to a camp soon, which I hope you come to my camp in November if you live nearby. But if you're going to a camp soon, go over this checklist and make sure that you're going to show up your very best of who you are, and go through these 1 through 5 and make sure that you're attending that camp with all of this intention in mind. Okay? So you can make the most of any camp that you go to. Let's say the camp doesn't really have many challenges. Maybe they have 1. Make the most of that challenge. That's how you grow. Okay? Mine has tons and tons of challenges because I know why I'm adding the challenges. If yours only has a couple, make the most of every single one and you're going to come out a better athlete. Okay? That's the whole goal. So I wanted to actually do, every time I do a live, I'm going to go over one question of the week because I think that when one person asks me a certain question about the game, a lot of other people might have the same question in mind. So who knows if this could be you. But before I say it, if you guys have a question that you would want me to answer on this live, I'm going to end every single live from now until eternity with a question that somebody has sent me. So you can send it on here in the comments. You can send me a DM with the question. And I will eventually get to your question. I probably have like 10 questions that people have sent me, and I'm only going over 1 today, okay? So I'm going to end every live with a question. This one comes from Lexi H, and this is actually her mom asking the question. And she said, my daughter has had issues with teammates that aren't kind. The teammate says some pretty negative stuff and doesn't seem truly happy to be there. So maybe advice on dealing with teammates who are dragging you down. Whether it's ignore it or try to push positive vibes back at them, it's a tricky situation. And honestly, Lexi, girl, I have dealt with this. I have probably been a negative teammate from time to time. I'm not perfect, but I definitely have been exposed to people that have been negative. And if you guys, there's a book called The Energy Bus by John Gordon. I know I always talk about books, but inside that book, it talks about how almost every environment you're exposed to, there's always an energy vampire, okay? What an energy vampire is basically someone who's not on the same level as you are with energy or excitement about something, and they're trying to drag you down and pull your positive energy. They're trying to get it out of you because they feel like garbage, okay? The goal is when you confront an energy vampire is to, 1, be the opposite of the energy vampire. So just like you said, if somebody is being negative, you have to be able to push positive like crazy, okay? Not like they don't have to jump on the bandwagon. And here's the thing. You don't have to go above and beyond and expend all of your energy to try to make them positive. If they're just a negative person and they're always a negative person, it's very hard to make them a positive person. So the goal is to not let your energy transfer into them and try super, super hard to make them positive. And I'm telling you right now, they might be some of the best people on your team. But if they're happy being negative and being lonely, and you've tried to say, hey, I'm here for you if you need anything. I'm just gonna be my own positive self over here. You can jump on this train or not. I care for you as a person and I want you to be more positive, but I'm not going to waste my energy on you. Because here's the thing, when you're in the middle of a game and somebody has struck out 3 times in a row, you should be a good teammate and say, hey, don't worry, you got the next one. We have your back for this next at bat. That's how you can confront somebody who's in a bad mood because of maybe the results that are happening. But if they are refusing any sort of positivity that you're trying to give them, do not waste your time on their energy, okay? They will eventually get themselves out of it. You can try to help them in that situation. I'm not saying be a bad teammate and say, man, she's 0 for 3, she's screwed. No, you don't want to be that person, but you want to be as positive as you possibly can be. And if they catch on to it and they start doing better because of it, good for you. But do not waste all the energy that you've worked so hard on yourself to generate on somebody who doesn't want your positive energy, okay? So the best way to go about it is 1, stay positive. 2, show the positivity all over the place. Show it, and do not compensate because they're negative. If you're next to that person and they're being negative, walk away. Okay? Walk to the other side of the dugout. Find somebody else who's positive and put your energy into that person. Because last time I checked, I'd rather put my positive energy into somebody that's going to take it and they're going to run with it. Like a teammate that's crushing it right now and being like, hey, Lexi, like you just hit a double. Let's do it again. Let's focus on that. That's positive energy. Take that positive energy into the people that want it. Do not waste it on the people that don't. Okay? But you can help a teammate out if they're really struggling. You can help them. Give them just a little bit of positive at a time. Just a little bit at a time. Eventually they'll catch on because they'll see that you're crushing it and that they're not. Okay? They'll catch on. Don't worry. But that was a great question by Lexi. Last thing is, if you are interested in any sort of training from me, go to AshleyBTraining.com. Okay? I have online training. I have in-person academies. I have this camp coming up November 9th, and I would love if you guys were inspired by this show at all today. Take a screenshot, put it on your pages, tag me so I can see it. But if you have teammates that really need to hear this type of stuff, if you have teammates that are maybe negative, like Lexi's thing, send them this to hopefully spread some positivity. That's the whole point of me doing these lives, is so that I can help inspire you, help get you positive, maybe if you're not, and give you the tools that you need to succeed. So find your closest camp, okay? If it's Fort Wayne, Indiana, I would love that. But find the closest camp that's coming up and sign up for it now, okay? Because all of the things that I gave you earlier, all of these things are ways that you can grow as an athlete. And why would you not want to expose yourself to situations that are going to be like the toughest situations that you'll have in a game? I know a lot of coaches, they plan their practices around all of these things, and I think that is amazing. The best coaches are planning practices to go over the 1 through 5 things that we worked on. So these camps are actually like, let's say like a really good practice like that times 10. Because when you have a ton of people in a room, like my goal, I want to get at least 30 people at this camp, okay? That's just like one of my goals. We have 30 people, 30 athletes giving their all, having high energy at this camp. You would be like, I want to record the whole thing because you will be able to see athletes, see what they're made of and more in that environment. Because when you have that many people in a room together and they are all working hard, they're all sweaty, they're all talking, they're loud, they're excited, you're going to get it from me, obviously. But when you have that type of environment in that community, in that same room, and they're all striving to be the best that they possibly can in that moment, it's an empowering place to be. So expose yourself to empowering camps like that. Go local. I know a lot of you don't even live close to Indiana. Find your closest local camp, and I encourage you to sign up for your next one. And as soon as you go to the next one, plan, in like 3 months, like plan the next camp that you can go to so you can keep getting exposed to challenges and to ways that you're going to be tested and that can compare to a game. So find your next camp, and I encourage you to go to it. If you want to come to mine, go to AshleyBTraining.com. I'm not forcing you to, but I would love to see you there. And if you guys have any questions, send me an email at ashley@ashleybtraining.com, and I would love to talk to you. All right, this is all I have for today. I have no idea how long that was. Last thing that I wrote on my page is shine your light, okay? Whatever light that you bring to a situation, whatever your strengths are, I need you to shine those strengths to others to make this world a better place, okay? All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all are amazing. I'll probably answer some of the comments on Facebook and Instagram later, but you guys are the best. Okay, see you later.